All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for podcast number 70.
We're going to be talking about battle lines.
Yes, the Twitch VOD. So, yeah, enjoy, guys. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast,
Yes.
number 70.
Number 70, with a very special topic.
Special topic indeed.
Yes.
For those of you that have not been following up with us over the last week or so, this absolute mad lad absolutely killed it by launching his own novels Kickstarter a few days ago.
Pre-orders for battle lines.
Already getting tons of people backing it and stuff. But
Yeah, you guys have been amazing. We already blew through, what was it? We blew through the goal and then the first 3 stretch goals.
Yep.
So,
but we want to go like all the way plus ultra. Drill pierces the heavens. Mandalorians descending in massive
right.
basilisks en masse, and have just the most incredible experience with this here. So please, if you're here in chat, stick around until the end bit. I have a special little something here that I'm going to do for a specifically Battle Lines Hype Squad, if you want to be a part of. Jacob doesn't even know about what this is, so stick around to the end of that if you want to be a part of helping just absolutely make this guy's novel be the biggest success it can be.
it is quite good.
Yes, it's quite something, and we're going to be getting into some things that are probably the kinds of things that you would not actually know about the book without actually reading it yourself a little bit. A couple little teasers, maybe some insight in some of the characters, maybe a couple special little things here and there.
Right.
But yeah, is Jacob the next J.R.R. Tolkien? Well, I mean, you have the double
middle initial, and when I, because I didn't start out with 2 middle names, and I ended up adding middle name, and when that happened, and I got the idea of like, I really want to be a writer, I was like, okay, well, I am absolutely doing the initials for the 2 middle names because I must pay tribute to the OG Tolkien.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So thank you all for coming in here for the podcast. We'll not be talking about anime that much this podcast here.
Right.
I left out the anime tag specifically here. We might be talking about anime inspirations with regards to the book, but we're going to keep all the topics and questions specifically associated with that. So if you have questions about the book, there's going to be a segment within this whole podcast where we will go specifically to you guys to ask questions to Jacob. Like, please pose these questions to Jacob about things related to the writing process, what it felt like to be, going through this whole thing.
All of that.
The whole picture, everything is on the table here. Ooh. So, yes.
Before we get too much into this, though, we have to shout out one of our VIP patrons.
Absolutely.
Knights Lost 101.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate your support. It means a lot. And as a recent addition to the VIP stuff as well, I see that you recently joined the Discord as well. So we're glad to have you in the SOS Brigade, as we've been kind of unofficially calling the Discord for now. Yeah. But yes, how's everyone's day going today? It's another Monday week. Lots of people come in here. Let's answer our first question here. How many pages are in the book?
It's about 350, maybe a little bit more. It basically depends on, because I still need to work with the printing company to actually get the final, exact finished copy, even though the manuscript is all done.
Yes, we're both wearing Battle Lines t-shirts. No, that's the funny thing. This is the closest thing to Battle Lines I could do. I am wearing actually a shirt that is specifically like a UNICEF reward thing for supporting The Force Awakens. So I'm trying to encourage all you guys, be a force for change.
Start with Battle Lines.
Yeah. Exactly. Jet Villain, thank you so much for the follow. Glad to have you here.
Yeah. Yes. If you guys haven't seen the Kickstarter link, is there was a thank you video that was put out that has the link there. Yeah. But then also in the VOD for the previous podcast, it's there in a pinned comment. So there. I can also
just put the link specifically in Twitch chat here.
Ooh, cool.
Let me do that really quick.
Awesome.
Hold on. Twitch chat just freaked out for a second there.
But
hold on. Stream chat. What the heck just happened?
Oh no!
I don't know, but Oh no, guys. We lost chat for a second there.
Clearly we have been sabotaged.
This is the work of an enemy stand, indeed.
Exactly. In the most nefarious of fashions. Yep.
Okay, there we go. There we go. That was...
And we might need to get some
the
questions reposted that were before like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, we just lost everything in chat for a brief second there.
Yeah, unfortunately. So
okay, so I'm going to start basically a form of an interview of sorts. So I'm going to be talking to Jacob, asking him a bunch of questions. For those of you that have been following us for a while, some of these questions might seem a bit familiar, but Jacob's going to be bringing in some special new things along the way. Yes. Sky Nether 99, thank you so much for the follow. Glad to have you here. Yes. Dr. Women Respected with the 100 bits. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, so Jacob, Battle Lines. It's your first novel ever.
Yes.
It's your first published book ever.
Right.
No one I know has published a novel first. Every single other person I know that has ever written a book and published it, and there's like I could count on one hand. They always did like short books and stuff. So why Battle Lines? What was your desire and reason for doing this particular story?
So, well, if you haven't seen the cover before, there's armor on there, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's this shirt, armor, right? And it's fantastic.
It is.
There was a story that I had wanted to write for a while that was basically just like a kind of a Star Wars fan fiction.
Yeah.
That was about Mandalorians, right? And I wanted to do my whole spin on Mandalorians, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I have crazy, awesome ideas and stuff. But then I was like, wait a minute. If I actually did write that, I wouldn't be able to do anything with it, right? And that's no fun. And I was like, wait a minute. What if I made my own Mandalorians, right? And then I made my own story with my own Mandalorians. And I basically I take it and I make it my fan fiction, basically. But I make it like an original story. And I was like, that's amazing. So then I started doing that. And yeah, that's basically how it started.
Cool. So Mandalorians, a desire to... see a specific kind of type of characters within your story brought to life.
Yep.
Why the like specifically with this novel, what you've written here? Why the specific types of characters? We're gonna get into these characters here, but why the squad? Why the family kind of dynamic there?
So. For those of you who don't know, Battle Lines is a sci-fi about a group of kids that are brought together from terrible backgrounds to become basically super space soldiers, right? My own rendition of the Mandalorians, but in my opinion, even awesomer.
Cool.
And that was one of the things that I thought was really cool about Mandalorians was the idea that they had the strong focus on family and honor and things like that. Because there's a crap ton of just generic, we are the barbarian tribe, in this universe, whether it's like Klingons in Star Trek or like the Dothraki in Game of Thrones or or whatever. But I wanted there to be that more of like villainous virtues while being the archetype of like group that basically it is not the paladin's paragon of virtue necessarily, so yeah.
Okay, cool. So what can you tell us about the primary conflict of like the general plot line of Battle Lines?
The way I talk about the premise is that there's that's kind of an elevator pitch, so I'll tone it back a little bit.
Okay.
No. Okay, because there's the synopsis, yeah. So, kids from terrible backgrounds brought together by this wise old general dude to become a super space soldier team that will save humanity, right? Pretty straightforward so far. But the twist is that complications arise, of course, and then it's not just about whether they'll be able to save humanity, but whether they'll be able to save each other.
Cool.
Because one of the things that I find disappointing whenever there's the action flicks that are sort of like the, dime a dozen, you watch them at the theaters, but then you forget everything about the movie. It was fun, but then it just, is that they don't have the interpersonal, like, emotional impact to the conflict.
Okay.
And that was one of the things, like, because like I started this book 3 years ago, and back then, like, a lot of my favorite anime were things like Attack on Titan, Black Lagoon, and things like that, and those were the things that I saw as separate, as basically putting those stories head and shoulders above the other just action stories that were out there. So yeah, that's why I have that be a main portion of the conflict, and then but it has both is the thing, you know. It still has the save humanity and
Space
all that
opera
stuff,
kind of thing.
right? Exactly. But then it's still like, hey, we're a team, we're a family, and you know we're the only family we've got. So how do we make sure that we all get out of this okay?
Right. So these characters are really what's going to be banking the story in terms of our emotional anchor, not only to the plot but also to the conflict. And you're like the squad specifically. Can you go into any of those? Like, or
Yes.
you want to describe kind of give a little bit of a teaser on each of the characters and such?
Absolutely can.
Cool.
First off, the Angels as an idea, it stands for Air, Navy, and Ground Elites.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's just so cool, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
just the idea of like anywhere, any place they go and they kick butt and are awesome, right?
Yep.
They're named after the planets of our solar system. So
Cool.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. I stopped there because 6 characters enough, but also I didn't want to have to name a character Uranus because I knew everyone would mispronounce it, and I just didn't want to do that to them. So it's not that I hate Pluto. That's not it.
Yeah.
There's other reasons for it.
Cool. So 6.
Yeah, 6.
6.
Which is
okay.
actually, it ended up being a fair amount of characters.
I was gonna say 6 main characters is quite a lot, and each
that's
of
not
these,
all the main characters.
and
That's
each of-
just the squad.
right, and each of these characters fulfills probably some role within the story. But also, did you in the writing process have to figure out a way to make essentially like a one or a couple of them the main of the 6 characters?
Yeah. So
And how did that work out?
So Mercury is the main character.
Okay.
He is the team leader of the Angels.
First planet in the solar system.
Right,
There you
exactly. The one closest to Sol, who is the commander.
So is it Sol or Sol?
Uh,
We're
Wait.
gonna end the fandom debate
Yeah, yeah.
before it happens here.
So that's one of the things that I was actually kind of confused about, I think, when I was writing it. Because it's solar system, but yeah, it'd be Sol.
Sol. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Sol.
So Sol for the sun.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
Not at all any kind of like parallels there, or metaphors for the relationship between the characters, but
For sure.
But Mercury's the main character. He's the most probably normal out of all of them.
Normal in what way?
Well, like, okay, so they're all from like terrible backgrounds, but his is from the most normal bad background. Because like,
Gotcha.
in order to actually become super space soldiers and have some reason and to do that, you'd need to like not have just like a regular childhood, right? But
Sure.
there need to be something there. But he's the most normal as far as where
So-
he came from out of all of them.
Right. In some ways, he's the best character for everyone to relate to.
Exactly.
Because his background is less like extreme or specific.
And a lot of the characters have emotional baggage, let's say, that they have because of where they came from, even though they've had a long time to like grow up together and all that stuff over the early section of the story. But so Mercury is kind of like the anchor in that sense.
Cool.
And then after that you have Venus, who is
and don't worry, guys. He's not giving too much away.
I won't give any spoilers here. This is just character introductions. If of course you want to be completely, know nothing about it, then you don't necessarily have to be here. But it is awesome, and yeah, one of the reasons why the character introductions are really cool though is because on the stretch goals for the Kickstarter, there's character art. So for a lot of these characters, and it's going to be amazing because the piece for Sol has already been done, and that is gorgeous. So Venus is the type A person of the group. Yeah, she is absolutely tenacious and tough and a badass. But don't worry, that does not encapsulate her character. That's one of the things that bothers me whenever there's that like character trope archetype in a story, and
Where they're
that's
just
all
there
there
to
is
be
to
badass.
them. Yeah, and it's like, Come on, there's
give them
make them
a
a
contradiction.
person.
Make
Yeah,
them a
exactly.
person. All right, so then we get to Earth. This is the one that seems like it would actually be the hardest to do because Earth as a name seems kind of dull, right?
Right, because it's like
it's our planet.
It's our planet.
Right.
Yeah, and he's actually one of the more fun characters because
okay.
He's probably the most stable out of all of them, for one.
Okay.
But he also is very positive and optimistic and sort of like the one that would give like the impassioned anime speeches equivalent.
But still got his own baggage.
Yeah, but like he's great. He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
So Mars. There's a lot of connotations usually to Mars in lore and legend and myth. So is Mars the like hyper aggressive?
Not quite. When I was thinking of Mars, I was like, okay, that's kind of tough because there's a lot of connotations that people will have with a character like Mars, and how do you make it so that they feel real in their own person while at the same time sort of fitting the name. And they are the protector.
Oh, okay.
But they are they probably have the most issues out of everyone in the group.
All right.
Because basically Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn all knew each other before the story starts, before they basically become angels.
Oh, interesting.
So he was the sort of protector of them when they were in their bad background.
Gotcha.
And because of that, he didn't really let himself develop.
Okay.
In a lot of ways.
Interesting. Don't give too much.
Yeah.
All right, so Erwin is my present with the 100 bits. Thank you so much. Heart emoji. Yes!
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so Jupiter and Saturn.
Yes.
I don't hear lots of names usually for Jupiter, but even less so for Saturn usually and things. So what was the reason for going into 5 and 6 characters rather than 4, which is usually, I would say, a safer...
Right. The reason why I wanted more than 4 was because I feel like 4 is a lot safer as far as the number of characters, but you get less variety. Because one of the things that I wanted there to be was not just the idea of each one of them being a main character, but also the collective group of them being the main character.
Nice.
Right? So it's
fun.
Yeah, and so one of the things and it was a real pain during editing, because whenever I would change some slight detail, I had to kind of change the whole rest of the story because it would change how the characters would think about things and feel about things. And
the whole group dynamic would shift.
Exactly. The whole group dynamic would shift, and then I'd have to sort of like redo everything from that point on.
Wow. Hard work, guys, writing.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted there to be 6, and because that way you can have the most like interpersonal dynamics.
Lightly touch upon Jupiter and Saturn personality-wise, for us.
Jupiter is the quiet one.
The quiet one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's very perceptive and has a good finger on the pulse of the others.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And he's awesome.
All right. And Saturn.
Saturn's the fun one.
Oh, Saturn's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And she's probably one of the most fun characters to write.
Oh, okay. All right.
She has so much personality to her, and basically wears her heart on her sleeve, and just and in the best way.
Awesome.
In the best way.
All right, sweet. Yeah. I like those types of characters, and I think this is a question that follows it perfectly. How do you juggle a main character kind of typical story arc and giving 5 other main side characters arcs as well? Because your goal was to give the entire team, or each of them individually, arcs, right?
Right. And one of the things that when I told my editor about this, when I was doing the content editing, so like big picture edit stuff, they were like, I don't know about this. That's a lot of main characters. Like, that's most of the time you'll have like 2 or 3 or something like that. How will you give all of these time in the one book? And in the first draft, one of the biggest issues with the first draft was that I did a lot of like introduction to the characters and spending time with them, but like there wasn't much actual story.
Okay.
It was just like spending time with the characters, which was great because I got to know them and stuff. But as far as narrative goes, it had work to be done. But one of the things that makes it a lot easier is that they're a team.
Yes.
So they'll be in the same place a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So they can be going on their character arcs in tandem with each other.
Right. So you wouldn't have to do one at a time in like a metronome thing. It's more like, like
exactly.
triple snap.
One of the things that is fantastic in stories when they do it well, but I tend to have issues with is when they elevate characters to main character status, because it can be fantastic and the depth that they give for that character is great, but they can't be the main character forever, right? So then they tend to sort of go back, and then they'll go to a different character, and then they'll deal with that, and then it's like, okay, that's great, but I wanted to spend more time with this character, and then I'll get excited for all the things that they'll do with this character, but then it won't last the entire story. They'll do it and it'll be done. And that's probably one of the things that I'm the most proud of with this story, is how I handle the inter-character dynamics throughout and having them all being touched upon at the same time.
Nice.
Just like, yeah, dude.
That's one of my favorite things about journey stories like Lord of the Rings or Avatar, was that the group would expand slowly, but everyone had something to say or do whenever they would move to their next location.
And most importantly, that went beyond just their shtick.
Yes.
Because a lot
it wasn't
of times,
just them chiming out with their bit of dialogue.
Yeah, because you can do that and that can be great, right? I mean, certainly better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
But what if you had even more? What if you had it so that they had their own arc and things that they were dealing with and stuff like that? And because they're a team and they grew up together and they're super close, they can deal with it together, So you don't have to worry about it being like, oh, well, this person doesn't want to talk about it because they don't trust these people or anything. It's like, no. These people are together. They're solid. They are, even if they're not blood related, they are family.
Nice.
Right?
Sweet deal.
Yeah, it's it's really cool.
So you have Soul, and he's kind of the main leader of the whole thing. And
he's the equivalent
together.
of like Mandalore, basically. Like,
gotcha. His word is law.
Yep.
They follow him.
Yeah, he's a military commander, and he's a military commander in the way that. In the way that I feel like a lot of the times stories don't portray military commanders as, because usually like the issue with having like a military thing be a large part of the story is that, well, the main characters, in order to have them have impetus and like be making their own decisions and stuff, you don't want them to be answering to their superiors all the time, because then, well, what do you do, right? Then it doesn't feel like the main
follower.
Exactly. And you can do that. Like Berserk is a great example that you can do that, and it's fantastic. But I think I do a really good job with making Soul a compelling character that is likable and moves the plot forward, while at the same time giving freedom to the squad, because the idea is that when they're doing stuff, they'll be at a point where it's like, okay, no, they're badasses, right? They know what they're doing, so he can delegate and say, take care of this, and they'll take care of it, right?
Okay, so you have some other characters on this list here that you wanted to touch upon. Do you want to give a little bit of teaser on these three characters that you have?
Sure.
That
these are
non-squad.
Yeah, these other three characters are the classified stretch goals.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Wait. Really?
Yep.
So classified stretch goals.
So
for art, for these characters being revealed into what they look like and are.
Yep.
Because one of the names of this character here doesn't seem normal. Like, it seems a little bit off.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
do you want to touch at least very lightly without going into specific detail?
Sure. And I'm going to change the order slightly from how it is here.
Okay.
So there's Yuki Matsuri, Agent Yuki Matsuri, and basically she's Soul's right-hand person.
Okay.
Other than the Angels. The Angels are the public squad that he sends everywhere. She's the covert op.
Gotcha. Covert. Cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
All right. Sweet. Nice.
Yes,
and
she does use a sniper.
We have a sniper. Sniper waifu. Here we go, y'all.
And then.
All right.
Next, you have Vera, who is not affiliated with the Angels and Saul.
Okay.
A very important character. A great character. I don't want to go too much into what kind of person she is because I don't want to go into spoilers.
Cool.
And yeah, but she's awesome.
All right.
And then
this other character.
This other character is Erythian.
Erythian. Such a cool name, guys.
Yeah.
You know?
And he is, or should I say it is...
What?
An AI...
Whoa.
That helps them with their mission.
Whoa, an AI, y'all.
And
That's legit.
That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. So we have squad and squad leader. We have covert ops sniper waifu. We have Yuki Matsuri. I'm already on board with her character. Then we have mysterious Vera. Is that a reference to Firefly? What? My favorite gun. I call her Vera. All right, sweet. And then we have Erythian the AI. I love it because it's a named AI.
Yes.
Like, I want to go and Google what Erythian means almost.
And I
think it's a real, like...
It's not.
It's not?
Yeah,
it's made it up? Oh, okay, it's not.
And
all right.
And I do a really cool take on AI because when I think about like AI, right, and in storytelling now, the idea of an AI should be a big deal, right? But a lot of the times in stories, because there's sort of set ideas about how AI should be, they end up being kind of boring.
Right, they don't have much real... They're either like the entire plot, like, you know, say like Ghost in the Shell or something like that, or they're, you know, like nothing. Like, this isn't some Skynet thing where it's just like, oh, AI, evil, horrible, you know, or it's just like an AI that basically just runs your, you know, your automated cars.
It's the what's it? Tony Stark and Jarvis, you know. It's,
right.
Yeah.
Or Hal.
Exactly. Hal
has some other things too.
But Erythian's really cool, and I do a different spin on the AI idea.
I'm interested. Okay. PC Port, thank you so much for the follow and the 100 bits.
Yes.
Woo! Finally caught a stream. You guys rock. Heart
Thank
emoji.
You so much.
Heart emoji back, PC Port. Yes. Thank you so much. Erwin is my present with the 100 bits. Thank you so much. Too many cool characters.
Oh yeah.
See, this is the thing I'm excited for about Jacob's book. Y'all might not know this, but I have intentionally not read the book yet.
He hasn't.
Yep. I want to read it, and you know, be just as surprised and blown away as you are. So that's going to be something that is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people hanging out, say things in chat. We have if soul means sun, then is there an eclipse? Interesting.
Who knows?
Ooh, good question from Long Kazuma. How do you make them realistic? Are any of them based on people you know in real life?
So, that's one of the things that, again, I would usually get very frustrated with stories where they, especially with the badass characters, where they make them completely unrelatable and they don't feel like people.
Right.
I do a good job with that.
Are any of them based on real people, though?
Yes.
Okay. You don't have to say who, though.
Well, actually...
Not even which characters are based on real people.
They're all fragmented aspects of myself.
Oh, that is classic writers like that.
Not completely, but some kernel of them came from some aspect of myself that I then took out and messed with and twisted in certain ways and, you know, did all that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Jad the Mad with the 100 bits. Big congrats, Jacob!
Thank you!
Gonna use my bits to cheese out a few questions. Hey, if you could have an adaptation in any medium, not anime, that's too obvious, what would it be? Comic? Live action? Rock opera? Also, how many pages? So, thank you so much for the bits, Jad the Mad.
Yeah, other than anime, of course, because, you know, having Hiroyuki Sawano do something amazing. But live action. Totally live action. It would work really well, especially with the effects that are up nowadays, because, like, with the suits and everything.
Yeah, you could do those entirely CG.
And it could be really cool. like Iron Man, but way better.
Shots fired. Nice.
And then as for how many pages, it's 350 to 400, probably more like 350 to 375.
Cool.
Yeah, I
awesome.
don't actually remember off the top of my head what the exact page count is with how things are right now, but yeah.
Sweet deal. I think you said it was around 350, but we'll have those details for you there. Which, by the way, y'all, Jacob, there is a way that people can get up-to-date info as you post it up for the newsletter, correct?
Yes,
so
indeed.
If they're not on that, how should they do that?
Yes, so
email us.
So you can go to jacobwolcott.com actually.
Oh, okay.
And
that's up.
Yep.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, and then there's a newsletter sign up deal.
Okay, cool. So check that out if you want.
Sent out the first one. I need to figure out how to do that because there's some complicated things about how you do the formatting and stuff to actually make it look nice. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that's a cool deal here. There, AI. All I need to declare best girl. There you go. What was kind of the seed idea that started Battle Line? So we mentioned that, and then it was the Star Wars fan fiction and Mandalorians.
Right,
and it was to do a better
and it was also just
of.
the idea of. I loved the action, intense stories, but I felt like they often didn't get at the human aspect, and that was, with stories like Attack on Titan and Black Lagoon, that was what I liked most about them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Messker 1, the scope of your world seems huge. Were you afraid of this massive undertaking, building one that is coherent or not shallow? Many novels get criticized for their unrealistic setting, aka full of holes, unbelievable, etc. Is it something you struggled with, fear? I know it's one of the toughest things as it requires interdisciplinary expertise. How have you been researching? Lots of questions.
I have done a fair amount of researching. One thing so the setting for this is not actually in our solar system. I know,
gotcha.
It seems weird since they're named after the planets of our solar system.
Oh.
But it is actually in a different solar system. So, yeah.
Well, that makes things very interesting.
Yeah.
So you were.
It helped with things like history, for instance, because I didn't have to know about the history of, like, say, Earth,
everything,
for example, and all the stuff there, because it's like, hey, different solar system.
Gotcha. So you use a new world to avoid a lot of the issues there.
Right. That way I can kind of build it from the ground up.
Gotcha. Sounds good. That sounds actually pretty smart.
And the scope is very big, but one of the things that helps a lot actually is that because the core cast of characters are in this squad, they have a certain perspective on everything. They're not going to, like, it's not like the thing of where you have all these characters be in separate locations so that you can show the world and all that stuff. It's like, no, they're all brought together at a young age, so I don't have to necessarily go super in depth into absolutely every aspect of this world. But yeah.
Gotcha. This is one of the questions that I know is going to be just a big one that, you might not want to answer now, but is this a one-off or is this a multi-book series? Never say never kind of thing? Or
so
it could be a one-off, or
I guess you'll have to read it and find out.
But
here's one thing I will say. Well, actually, okay, no. Actually, I can just say this. It's a one-off.
Gotcha.
And one of the reasons for this was because with stuff that I would try and write before, I ended up wanting to be the next Tolkien, right? And it's like, that's completely understandable, but I mean, come on, for first work, keep it
simple.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
And one of the things that just bugged the crap out of me is how I would get into like some other series that would be really good, and then I would realize they don't know how to end this. And it would go on, and it'd be 5 years in between books, and and things like that, and it'd just be like, this is fantastic. Why can't I get the package deal? So this is a package deal, and it's really good.
That's awesome. What about people who want to buy it outside of the U.S.? Is there some shipping plan?
There's the shipping for the Kickstarter factors into it. So there's a shipping amount for inside the U.S. and then the shipping amount for outside the U.S.
But it does ship to most countries outside the U.S.
Basically.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, it's because shipping outside the U.S. can get crazy.
Yeah, it can get a little crazy. Yeah. If you could have anyone do an audiobook of Battle Lines, who would you pick?
Crispin Freeman.
Crispin Freeman.
Yeah.
Nice. That would be legit.
Exactly. And I had actually talked to him about it.
What?
Yeah, and he was like, well, when the, if you want to do that, then contact my agent once you've got the book done, and then if something happens with that, you can send over a copy and to figure out if it would actually work and stuff.
Whoa!
But what I'm actually doing right now is I'm taking voice lessons with him.
Yeah.
And the ideal situation is that I would be able to do it myself.
Nice.
But the thing is though, is that I absolutely do not know what doing an audiobook actually entails, because
right.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep on hold that there might be an audiobook, but
right.
for now it's not even
but it's
close.
Definitely not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon at all.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay, so some of the questions I had that I think a lot of the people here would definitely like to know as well are, what are some of the moments along the journey? Because it's been 3 years.
Yep, 3 years come April 16th.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 years of you writing this. What are some of the little mini victories that you go back and you look on and go, that moment right there was huge in the whole development of this story?
Getting the first draft done and then talking to the content editor.
Gotcha.
Because when I originally wrote this story, it was 20 chapters, and each chapter was way too long. And I had like 4 chapters for just the character introductions of each of them and where they were before they joined the Angels and all that stuff and blah blah blah, and that like parallel like timeline, so like in the present and then like back in the past, like watching them grow up and all that stuff, and that was just way too crazy. Someone on here I know at least read that first draft because I posted it to Wattpad. It's now private.
Wow.
Because I don't want to let anything slip or whatever, even though it's very different now.
Gotcha.
But they basically looked at it and they were like, okay, cool. Well, actually no, they didn't even look at it. What it was is that I gave them the first the prologue, and I saw that they had so much stuff that they pointed out, and I was like, gotcha. I don't want to. I realize that there's a ton that's going to need to be changed, so I don't want to actually have them go through the draft just yet. So I basically drew up an outline of what the story was, sent it to them, and said, okay, let's edit the outline, I'll rewrite it, and then I rewrote the entire thing based on how they did the edits for the outline. And then after that, I sent that new draft to them, and then they edited that.
Gotcha.
And that was big.
And what was the feeling like? Because one of the things that I've never done is write a first draft of a full story.
Yeah.
That is a large amount of writing.
Yep.
Like hundreds of thousands of words.
And that's the easy part.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's something that I feel like most of us who are aspiring writers, we need to hear. What was it like writing the first draft? Because it was kind of in blitz mode for you. Like you were just full on just go.
I was working 50, 60 plus hour weeks when I wrote the first draft at 2 separate customer service jobs, because this was before the channel. I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm saving up money to actually be able to put towards the book, because making books is expensive.
It is,
especially when you're self-publishing, because if you don't self-publish, then you basically get someone and they're like, okay, cool, we'll cover the cost for you, and then you just won't get much of the royalties, right? But for self-publishing, it's like, hey, having someone to read your 400-page novel and edit it, and you don't edit it once, you edit it 5 times, that can
cost a lot of money.
Yes, especially if you want to have people that actually know what they're doing.
Yes.
So but where was that? So yeah, the first draft was really tough, but thankfully it wasn't the first draft of something that I'd ever done. There was a story that I had before that was basically just I'm going to write a manuscript of the story that goes from beginning to end, and that was a slice of life about people playing MOBAs, and it absolutely sucked. It was so cringy.
That's awesome.
It was terrible.
That's great.
So thankfully from that, I was like, okay, I'm familiar with the process of writing a manuscript draft. And I did that, but that was again, the story wasn't much of anything at that point. I had a good handle on the characters, but there wasn't much of a story there. So if any of you are aspiring writers or you're writing right now, don't worry about the first draft. It's gonna suck. Your final draft is gonna be almost unrecognizable compared to the first draft.
Cool.
Like that's actually one of the reasons. Like, after it's Battle Lines has had the time to release and people can read it and all that stuff, I'm gonna make the Wattpad draft 1 public again, so that if people want to see like this is what draft 1 was like, they can, and they can go back and see like, oh yeah, this is completely different. Oh god, that was so awful there, and,
right?
Things like that, because it's totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, cool. My next question I had is that what were some of the struggles, like the really painful struggles in the moment that you look back on now fondly because you overcame them?
Look back on fondly.
Like, are there any
I look
struggles?
back fondly on them because they're over.
Right. But like, what were some of those struggles?
Every time I finished a draft, because 6 drafts.
You have 6 drafts that you did.
Yeah, and that's not counting like
start to finish.
Right, and that's and I'm not talking. That doesn't include like the final like just check for
like
typos
grammar
thing.
Edits. Yeah. That doesn't count.
Like most of the
These
time
are
the
rewrites.
edits, this is like rewrites and stuff where it's like, okay, this doesn't quite make sense. This conversation it needs to be shifted and whatnot. And
Okay,
so
every
time I basically went through a draft, because it would be this rallying thing of like push through, finish this draft, and I would do it, and it would be awesome, and then I'd realize, no, I've got to do it again, and that's hard because the thing is with this 3 years working on it, right, and it can just be a number of like 3 years working on it, but the thing is 3 years with no recognition that I've made progress. Not really, like from other people maybe, but it's like that just becomes static at some point, right? It becomes a slog because I don't know where I'm so close to it. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see any of that stuff. And it's not like say with the channel where we could sort of like get better as we went.
Totally.
So it was just like, okay, I just have to believe that this will end up being something that is worth publishing. It's worth getting out to people.
Totally. That's one of the things. That's one of the things. That's kind of my follow-up question. There is that what were the moments where you were low, but something like picked you back up, and what were those things like?
Oh, okay. Even though I hadn't actually watched any Jordan Peterson at that point, there's this concept that he talks about where you have a heaven to strive for and a hell to run away from. And I kind of had both of those, because it would be I'm farther than I've ever gotten before, right? Cool. Like this is becoming real. I don't know how much I have further to go, but it's becoming real. And then there was the hell of the people that I had seen, like teachers, for instance. There was a writing teacher I had, and
he gave up.
Yeah.
Wow.
They gave up, and I could see how terrified they ended up becoming of writing, and how they always wanted to do it, but they didn't. And they would give out writing projects to the class, and they'd say they were going to do it with us and stuff, and they wouldn't. And it was just like, my god, like, and it was,
Chad. That's
it was some heavy stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was basically the other thing of like, I can't stop here. I can't, because
for sure.
I can't let that happen to me. So yeah, that was, and then of course just family being awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. What were some of your biggest like kind of people in the support structure? I mean, not like names specifically and stuff, but let people know like you had a support structure. Like you had people around you that were doing like specific things, like functional things, like in addition to just supporting you and encouraging.
Oh yeah, I mean,
right?
like there's a married couple that basically does the cover and formatting. Then there was another person that did the actual like armor art.
Yeah.
And then I had multiple editors over the course of the journey, and then there was all the emotional support from like you or mom and dad or my grandpa. It was awesome. He read the first draft in like just a couple days, and was super supportive and everything. I felt like straight out of, I don't know if you've seen this Ghibli movie, but Whisper of the Heart. which is funny because it's about a girl who doesn't know what she wants to do, and then she ends up deciding she wants to write. And in 2 months, she writes a manuscript, and that's what it was for me. That was basically my first draft. That, you know, in a 2-month stint of just writing and, you know,
going crazy.
Yeah. And then there's this old grandpa character that basically reads it over and gives her encouragement, and not like the
that's so
you know,
sweet.
the blowing, you know, wind up your ass kind of stuff, but like being like, this is a great start, you know, and you need to keep refining it and all that stuff, and this might not actually be any of the stuff that's in the final thing. And I almost feel like it was something that was like referencing like Miyazaki and them and their whole journey and what the creative process was like, but it ended up being almost exactly that same way for me, which was yeah, that was
really good. Erwin is my present with the 100 bits. Is this your magnum opus, or do you have more ideas brewing in that high IQ mind? Oh my god,
I have plenty of ideas. One of the things that I heard a lot of different writers say was that it's not about ideas. Like yeah, it's great to have a good idea, but everyone has ideas is the thing. The idea is not what makes you become successful as a writer. It's actually taking that idea and turning it into something, making it real. Right. Because and that's why, like, even if, like, because
it's kind of harsh, but it's basically saying your idea doesn't matter.
Nope, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
You know, you think someone will steal your work? No, they won't, because nobody cares.
Yep.
You know, it's you don't have to worry about that.
It's the grit. It's the going into the trenches and actually making that happen, putting in the thousands and thousands and thousands of hours to make it happen.
I mean, even when this is all done, even if the book is super successful and stuff, calculating out how much per hour that would basically mean that I was earning, like, even if the book was really successful, I'm not talking like J.K. Rowling, but like really successful, you know?
Yeah.
Almost certainly below minimum wage. Like, it would have to do really well just to get above minimum wage after expenses and everything. Like,
I think that's one of the things that's really important with this, is that a lot of people will come at books and stories and the whole thing with a lot of passion. But my final question before we go into kind of chat questions is what is the passion? What is the process? I would say the passion process that keeps you plugging in the hours.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What is the passion process? What is the method that you do to keep yourself plugging in the hours when you do not want to?
Figuring out ways to reward myself. Knowing that, all right, cool, I'm walking the path that almost nobody walks, and even fewer people walk to the end.
Gotcha.
Like that was probably one of the biggest things that, like, because when I was writing the first draft, right, there were days when I would be getting 3-4 hours of sleep and work, like, wake up at 6 to work, and then have a couple hours, like an hour and a half for a nap in between jobs, and then at midnight I'd be walking home, and then I would just crash, wake up the next day, and and things like that, and that was when I was writing my first draft, right?
Yeah.
And it was very surprising to me how productive I was able to be, and a lot of it was because I knew I'm doing really good. I'm doing the things that people would call me crazy for doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm living the Mandalorian,
right. So
path and all that.
By going into this with the express desire of being like, I'm going to go where no one has gone before, or very few have gone before.
Certainly no one in our family.
Yes, that's true. By like going all out for it, it reinforces the belief that even though you have no like immediate feedback of like whether or not this is going to be a successful thing, you know that the actual process is worth it, because it's going to change not only who you are, but you're at some point going to look back on this and go, yeah, I did that.
Right.
Like, and that whole process was worth it.
And I want to point out, those are the good days.
Yes, that's true.
Those are the good days, where you're like, okay, yeah, I am actually getting better. This is all worth it. I'm turning myself into a better person and all that stuff. Those are the good days.
Yes. There are
a lot
bad
of bad
days.
days.
Yes.
Where you're just banging your head on a wall and you're like, this sucks. I can't do it. This is all over. You know.
And there are a lot of those.
And you'll have those multiple times a day where you'll be going
Yes.
from like, yes, I'm a badass. I'm doing great. I got my writing done for the day. And you'll be like, crap, I've got like at least 3 more drafts after this. You know, it's never going to be over.
Gosh.
I'm never going to get it out there. And even if I do, I'm going to have to be like selling it door to door around like downtown Seattle and, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh my gosh. So like I just give mad respect for you for like putting in the work and doing this, because now that you're here, there's like a lot that still has to be done.
Yep.
But it's basically the kind of things that are not within that grind.
Right.
So there's a different kind of tenacious energy, and it's something that I want to support you in, because this is actually the part where my energy, I feel like, starts to get more useful. One of my gifts specifically is being a hype person. I have a very real ability to bring up the hype in someone else. And I am reminding you guys in chat, stick around to the end of the stream, because I've got an invitation for you all. There's no, like, I'm not going to try and sell you anything or whatever. I'm basically just going to be asking for some people who want to join this special Jacob author Battle Lines hype squad. Specifically, you know, if you want to help promote this and help support him. I'm not asking you to buy anything or whatever. I'm just wanting to preface that because I think it sounded like that when I first started the stream. Stick around to the end of the stream. I'm going to be talking about that. Okay, so we're going to be going into chat questions, hardcore here. If you have a question for Jacob that hasn't been asked yet by me, please ask it in chat here. There are a couple that I missed. I'm going to go back and grab those. Did you ever have any moments where you obsessed over a minor detail that doesn't matter in the long run? I had the moment this morning where I spent hours deciding whether to use the word in or of in a chapter title. From Jad the Mad. Thanks for the question, Jad the Mad.
Yep. And that's the thing that the first draft experience really helped to kind of beat out of me.
Gotcha.
Because don't worry about that stuff.
Because none of that stuff matters in the first
none
draft.
of it matters. None of it matters in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth draft.
Nice.
Like it almost entirely just doesn't matter.
You hear that? That should be freeing for a lot of you.
Don't worry about writing well. Just write and write fast.
Yeah.
Because it's okay when you're playing Skyrim. You have to craft a crap ton of iron daggers in order to up your smithing. Right? Those iron daggers, you are not going to use them. You are going to throw them away first chance you get. Nice. You don't want to lug that crap around, right?
Great metaphor.
That's writing in the early stages. You haven't developed your craft yet, right?
Yeah.
You need to write 1,000,000 bad words in order to get to the 100,000 good ones.
That's awesome.
So get through those 1,000,000 bad ones as fast as possible, and don't sweat it.
To what extent have you improved as a writer from start till now?
Night and day.
Night and day.
Night and day.
That's amazing.
I
love hearing that.
Yeah, because the thing is that I would end up writing like 2,000 words a day or like 10,000 words a week, and it's hard to do that. So because it ends up sucking at the beginning, right? You know, when you're writing that many words in a day, but eventually you get used to it, and then like dialogue and things like that. That was one of the areas where it was easiest for me because I could write dialogue practically all day, like banter between characters and whatnot.
Yeah, that's good.
And
Eric Walt with the have you guys considered having a Battle Lines book club on the Discord where we read about one chapter a day and discuss? You can have mods verify that we have the book if you're worried about people reading, quote unquote, the book through our reactions for free. The only thing we would say, I'd say we totally encourage that, is we might not necessarily be a part of that. We might let you kind of do it yourselves, and we might pop in and stuff, but I think the main thing is just as long as you're not video recording yourself reading the book out loud.
Yeah, talking about like what you liked about certain parts and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. That is actually something that I had specifically thought of.
Cool. Is the book going to contain some meta commentary on the real world and get real deep? It's been a while since I've read a good story with those qualities. From Star Platinum 08.
Yes, to varying degrees.
Okay.
One of the things that it definitely does that I wanted to get into is the idea of people in a military setting that, well, kill people. Having main characters that kill people. A lot of times stories will shy away from that aspect.
And what does that do to people?
Right, exactly. And
Gotcha.
And like it's still a sci-fi, so it's not quite the same as like, you know, if you were to just have it be in the real world, you know, and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
But that's something that is definitely addressed.
Cool. What are the main themes in battle lines, or any odd ones from Mesker 1? Great questions, Mesker.
Yes. That was one of the first things that I came up with. In addition to the whole idea of the badass armored fellows.
But themes, like...
The themes, morality,
okay,
family, and loyalty.
Oh. Those are interesting themes. Okay. Is there going to be some self-insertion of your struggle as a writer in the book from Star Platinum 08?
No, not of my struggle as a writer. There's plenty of struggle in the book, but not like writer struggle.
Gotcha.
It wouldn't work in the kind of story that this is.
Ramiz3484 says, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I'm very curious as an inspiring writer as well. First of all, no story is perfect, knowing that if people have some criticisms of it, do you have any plans to address them, or do you have any plans to accept them and then make it better in other works? Overall, I hope the best for you. I believe it will be amazing. I just want to say, this question is a little bit interesting because I want to clarify that what I think you're asking is that Jacob's not going to change the book based on criticisms that people give, because the book's done.
Yeah, the book's done.
He's gone through the effort of changing a lot of things based on a lot of criticisms.
This has been put through the ringer.
Yes.
Now here's the thing. But yes, that is a very good point. No story is perfect.
Yep.
One of the things that I held as an unfair standard to a lot of stories out there is that I expected the perfect story, and that just doesn't happen. It can be perfect for a person, right?
Yes.
It can be the perfect story for you. It's the perfect story you needed at that time in your life or whatever. It's the perfect this kind of story, right? But it's a completely subjective thing. And because quite frankly, you are working with limited material, right? You can't actually have the story go on forever and explore everything. And even if you did do that, then that would mean that the story would change as a whole and the overall feel of it would not be the same. So having it be basically choosing it to be certain things and not other things is very important. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to overhype you guys just because, you know, you listen to our discussion and you're like, oh my gosh, these guys know a lot about stories. Battle Lines is not a perfect story. Yeah. It was a great story. I see some really cool things in there.
Any series or anime that influenced you as you were writing?
Yes. Black Lagoon, Attack on Titan, and Wolf Children.
Children.
Yeah, that was the main thing that made me want to have the idea of like a family aspect in there.
Nice. Okay. Malkuth Soldier, did you put on anime soundtracks or video game soundtracks in the background to give you the energy boost you needed?
Oh yeah. Like some of my favorite moments were times where I was listening to a particular track and I would like choose tracks that fit the mood of the scene, and then I would write. And a lot of times, because I was listening to the music, I would come up with something that I did not have planned at all. And one of them is still in there, and it's for a pivotal point in the story.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Sweet deal.
Lost My Pieces was a favorite, same with Crone from Guilty Crown.
Yes, Mesker and Erwin was my president. There will be definitely the Hype Squad stuff going on there, so stay tuned for that. I know you have several professional artists contributing to this, but do you have a solidified standard to what you envision for the art style? Is it realistic like the existing artwork suggests, or would you be more open to a more anime art style, for lack of a better term?
I would not be averse to an anime art style, for lack of a better term.
Stylized,
more of animated, cartoonish sort of thing. I know I said cartoon. But I would... Either could work.
Right. This is just the type of art style you're doing for this year.
The main thing is that I would want the armor to look really cool. If it was like in any kind of animated thing, or live action,
and to have it look like armor.
Exactly.
One of the things that's unfortunate with some anime is that we will completely breach real.
Right. There's a difference in my mind between mech and armor.
Yes.
Right. And I like armor a lot more than I like mechs. Like I have nothing against StarCraft and the Marines and StarCraft and all that stuff and that traditional sort of look.
The exosuit.
Right. Exactly. But that's maybe a bit more realistic, but it's not as cool.
Gotcha. For sure. Eleanor, I was always hyped about writing characters and their personalities, but I would be the first to admit I suck at world building. Any advice you would have to change that?
Well, make a story that doesn't necessarily revolve around world building.
Yeah.
Like think about it.
Yeah, Haikyuu.
Haikyuu. Or what was one of the older movies? Way older. 12 Angry Men. Mm-hmm. that movie takes place in one room, basically. Yep. Like, I mean, they have the courtroom or whatever, but that's like the whole outside of the room is like 90 seconds of the movie.
Yep.
Right? Other than that, it's all in the one room, and it's just 12 characters talking.
Yep.
Right? And it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So, Ryan H with the 500 bits, just in my pre-order.
Wow.
Can't wait to read it. Well, gotta go. Thank you, Ryan H.
Thank you, Ryan.
I hope
See
you're
ya.
still here, but thank you so much for the bits. Appreciate it.
Take care.
You're the best, bro. Okay. Have you at any point in writing become emotionally affected by the actions of your characters or by the events of the plot, like crying while typing out emotional scenes?
Wait, where was that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if the writing doesn't move you, it's going to be hard for it to move the audience. When I was editing, it wouldn't necessarily move me because I was in critique mode. Right. But that was actually one of the coolest experiences is once the editing was, more or less done, and then it's like, okay, let's just make sure like the grammar is good and things like that, the sentences flow. Then I could actually like see once more the stuff I had in there and be like, damn, this is good
That's
stuff.
pretty awesome. What tropes did you try to keep, and what tropes did you specifically try to avoid?
Ooh. Well, some of those I can't talk about
some
all
of
them because some of them are spoilery.
What's one that you tried to have in there, maybe? Well, actually, no. It'd be easier to say the things that you wanted to avoid.
The ones that I wanted to avoid were the flat characters. Not just for the main characters, but also for the villains, but really both, because oftentimes I feel like they go hand in hand.
Making sure that if you're actually investing time in giving a character a name, you give them a story.
Exactly.
That's kind of a philosophy I think that Jacob and I have both always had it in terms of what stories entertain us as well.
Because there's an expectation, too, in there. Like, if you actually bother to give a character a name, you're like, okay, this is a person. They're not just a background character, so I'd like to see at least something from them.
Right. For sure. Okay, that's cool. If you could absorb the writing talent of any 5 writers, historical or modern, like the monsters from Space Jam did with the basketball talent, which 5 writers would you pick? That's a fun question.
Tolkien. Pierce Brown.
Nice.
Martin.
Any old school writers?
Sanderson.
Oh, Brandon Sanderson. Yeah.
And then Shakespeare.
Dang. Yeah. So Shakespeare for the dialogue?
Yeah, Shakespeare's writing the dialogue is fantastic and it's incredibly compact.
Yeah, it is.
Because the thing is, it's a play, so everything in Shakespeare is exposition, really.
Yeah.
Like there's no non-dialogue like world building stuff, not really.
Right.
And the way he weaves it into the dialogue and makes it feel totally natural is pretty unbelievable.
Gotcha. Feel free to skip.
Cool. Yes.
Feel free to skip this if it's too spoiler. Does your story follow an unorthodox narrative model? Things like subversion or twist on the hero's journey.
Well, okay. At the beginning, it certainly had an unorthodox narrative model in that there were 6 different perspective characters that were all alternated between equally of the angels, and then there was also present day and past.
Whoa.
Which was way too much.
Dang, so
I consolidated it.
That.
Yeah, there's still different. There's times when it changes perspectives, but like say Mercury as the more main character than the others, he's sort of the default perspective.
Gotcha.
But then there are times where it needs to go into other characters.
Shifting perspective is something that I really found to like a lot in Martin's books.
Oh yeah,
for Game of Thrones.
He's epic fantasy, so he's Martin isn't writing one story. He's writing a bazillion stories, and they're all set in the same universe. Like even though it's one book at a time, he's making a Martin cinematic universe. Like
but specifically with doing this for different characters that are in the same squad, do you ever have scenes where you get the same content but from different angles?
No, and that's actually that's very intentional, because one of the things that the content editor was talking about is she's like, how can you actually have a story if you have 6 different perspective characters? Like that doesn't work, because then you have to kind of retell the story 6 different times, and you'll never get anywhere doing that.
Right.
But having them in a squad and then having sort of like a default perspective, and they're all sort of going on the same things, and then you jump around, but it's still progressing the same narrative thread, more or less.
Sure.
Makes it actually manageable.
Gotcha. That's cool. Are there any good ways to stop yourself from constantly second-guessing your writing decisions?
Yes. You make it so that you can't change stuff after you've written it. So, like, basically, so if you're writing, say, a chapter, one of the things that I would do a ton back before I started getting in the habit of actually finishing drafts is I would write a chapter, and then I would give it to people to look at and edit, and I would edit it, and then I would write the next chapter.
Yeah, and you just move on.
No, just don't do that. Because you'll get better the more you write, so don't even worry about trying to make it perfect. And then just go and just say, all right, I did it. I can't turn back. I can't look in, behind me.
Gotcha.
And just keep going.
Cool. If you ever got the point where you could actually release a Battle Lines game, what style of game would you pick? RPG, ARPG, MMO, etc.
It'd be an RPG.
RPG?
Yeah.
From the perspective of basically
The characters, yeah.
the squad?
Yeah.
And then would you have a main character RPG, or would it be kind of like a squad, like kind of like what we're going to do with Divinity, where none of them are the main characters?
Right. I might do something like that. I could also do something where it's the perspective of someone else that is not in the squad, that's sort of seeing all the things that the squad does in sort of an outsider's perspective.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How would that work in a game?
It'd be weird and it'd be tough.
It sounds like something where you would narrate a story that happened in the past.
Well, the main thing is that I think it would... one of the issues with doing a game, when you're not talking like Telltale or something like that...
Right, yeah, for sure.
...is that keeping the conflict real, when a lot of the times it wouldn't make sense for the conflict to, like... for there to be difficult parts in the game. Like, for instance, in Force Unleashed, right? There are points where you... And old game, I know, it's an old game, wow. But there would be points where I would have trouble getting past some point in the game, right? And I wasn't against something that was narratively important. It's just some random thugs or whatever that for some reason their stats were just souped up, right? And, I mean, I suppose you could do that, but it wouldn't quite feel right.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Cool. Hey, this is April from YouTube. I don't know if you remember me, but you replied back. Anyway, congrats again on your book, and thanks for your advice. Oh, that's awesome. Fail or fall forward.
Fail forward, yeah.
And boy, have I been failing, but I'm pressing on. I don't know if it's an INFJ problem, but I feel like I tend to get completely lost in the details when I get too engrossed in an idea. How do you avoid getting overwhelmed by all the different factors that go into a book?
Well, first off, thanks, April. And good luck. Way to go. And then as for how to avoid getting overwhelmed, I would start with the big picture. Some people like to do discovery-based storytelling, but I like to instead come up with what kind of story I want to do, and then do discovery-based stuff once I actually get into the meat and bones of it.
Gotcha.
How things are going to get from here to here. And then just sort of figure out what works. But that way the infrastructure is all figured out. That way you don't need to worry about that, and not go like super crazy in depth into that, because that's a whole other problem where you get into like world building syndrome and you never actually write anything. But setting basically a clear description for yourself of the kind of story that you want this to be and what feelings you want your audience to walk away with.
Gotcha.
That way you always sort of have a compass.
Sounds good.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. Considering my thing about world building, I have a storyline I was thinking through about for years now, and I think I have a main character for pretty defined. I bet they would change later, of course, but storyline I want to use requires for me to build some kind of, at least in part, believable world. Okay.
Yeah, well, and that you totally, that's a thing that can totally happen. The thing is that Tolkien spent his entire life. Tolkien was very smart, and he was a linguist and all of that, and he spent his entire life making Lord of the Rings and the world around it and all that stuff. So.
Gotcha.
You don't have to be Tolkien.
Jacob, give us a Spotify playlist to listen to while reading, Kappa. Probably some anime.
Well, yeah, probably
soundtracks.
some anime stuff and whatnot. 2 Steps from Hell and things. But
nice.
Hey, if we hit the big stretch goal on the Kickstarter, official Battle Lines music. So
that's true.
I mean, then you can just listen to that.
Yeah. Again, here's the link to that.
Yep.
Go check out the Kickstarter. If you could have one anime studio animate your story, which one would you pick and why?
So Madhouse is the first one that comes to mind.
All right.
But I feel like this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like Kyoto Annie would also be amazing if I could actually convince them to do this kind of story, because it's not their usual forte. But like Violet Evergarden, holy crap, that looked amazing.
Yes, that did.
So like, yeah.
I'm terrible at keeping a schedule and actually doing what is scheduled. Well, hey, at least you have a schedule. Or at least I'm assuming that's what you mean there. Any advice on putting my nose to the grindstone and just getting stuff done?
Accountability partner.
Yeah.
And also, wake up early.
Wake up earlier.
Do it first thing in the day, because then you have the whole rest of the day to just be like, yes, I did it.
Yeah.
I did good. As opposed to beating yourself up because I still haven't done it today. Then you're just digging a rut for yourself.
Yep. Schedule the things that you want to do on the schedule first.
Ooh, and something that's also very helpful, because I did a lot of writing as a part of NaNoWriMo, and I started a day early. And because of that, it was really cool. I didn't have to stress about it, because the idea is that even if I, for some reason, can't get my writing done today, I have a buffer day. And I'm not going to let that buffer day go away, because I know what it's like when I don't have that. And that made it way easier. So that's a little trick. If that works for you, then great.
That's awesome. Can you describe Battle Lines as a mix of 3 existing properties/stories? This is not inspirations. This is like getting a little bit more,
right,
a little bit more detailed.
That's tough. So, because like, you could probably definitely see the aspects of like Star Wars in there, kind of, even though it's not a space fantasy. It's not a sci-fi fantasy.
There's no fantasy elements. Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
Well, think about that. That's okay.
Yeah,
we'll move on to another question here. Actually, we're basically done with questions. Will you ever write something formal, even if it's just a blog, in terms of techniques, models to follow in writing that you found useful?
That's actually sure. After I've done book 2 and actually get something that's concrete and good to work on, because I got to the end of it, but. There were a lot of problems with how I was actually going about writing this thing, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the path was like. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know all the steps and things like that. So, potentially, but ideally, I would want to actually get that all figured out for myself, and then go apply it and write another book, and then at that point, be like, hey, this is what I do.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so for those of you that are here, I want to know how many of you would be at the very least interested in being a part of a social media driven Battle Lines hype squad for the duration of this Kickstarter's length. Just show everyone in chat. Just say me if you're interested. Just that bit there, because I want to know who would be. Yeah, I'm in, or me, or anything like that. Just let me know, because one of the things that I want to do here is take a little bit of the stress off of Jacob. So here's the thing. All I'm asking for this specific thing here, there's not going to be a lot of commitment here. There's going to be some more specific people that are already on the Discord that I'll be plugging a little bit more intimately in, but this is more for the people that aren't on the Discord than the people that are. So here's what we're looking for here is, if you have a social media account, one of the things that we're going to be asking is, or I'm going to be asking, is that at specific times of the week, we just have you share the Kickstarter and ask that you write basically a specific thing sharing why you want them to support Jacob, why whoever is watching to support Jacob, or at the very least check him out, because this is something that's really, really important here. Jacob really loves stories. He really loves stories, and he really likes the whole process of like going deep into characters and all of that. But one of the things that I've watched with him is the whole process of actually doing this dreaded word, marketing of the book. It's actually like terrifies him. Like it terrifies him.
And the thing is, so that's kind of the most important part, because a lot of times, this is actually a comparison that I heard a lot from people that actually knew what they were talking about, is that it's like giving birth to a baby.
Yep.
There's the incubation period where you're actually like producing the thing, and then there's actually helping it grow up and survive in the world. You would not want to give birth to a baby and not take care of it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the majority of the work is, the lifelong endeavor aspect.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not expecting anyone here to have like some kind of huge social media following or anything like that, or even trying to, sell the book to anyone or what have you. What I'm looking for specifically is that if anyone is willing to do this, I'm going to have specific times of the week that people will basically volunteer to take. And if you take that, I'm not going to enforce anything. I'm not going to really ask for anything more than just that at those times of the week, weekly, if you're willing, to post and share the Kickstarter. And let people know basically that you're going to do this because you really want, this is, if you don't feel like you're the kind of person where it's like, oh, I don't want to, promote a book that I don't know if it's going to be good or not, for instance. Like for if that's something that you're thinking about or you're worried about, that's okay. This isn't for you. This is basically for the people that are like, you know what? Like Jacob is the person that like if I wanted someone to like have their book get big, like I would like it to be Jacob. Because this is the thing. Like obviously like any one of us could probably write a book or something like that. But there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into this book specifically, that went into this process. And this is basically a way for those of you who are interested to basically just gift back a small amount of your time, essentially, to someone who's been just doggedly working hard this book to give it to all y'all. So yeah, I'm not like there's nothing like specifically I want like any more than that. Weekly social media posts, and this is my way of also showing support to Jacob because I have some clever tactics I can employ that are my own secrets that I don't like sharing and stuff. So
said, Mesker. I have the best brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to be one of the social media weekly posters, I'll also have a specific schedule thing for that, and I'll get you basically onto that whole thing there. What I need you to do is, if you are interested in being part of the weekly posters, this is just all you're going to do is just choose a social media, Facebook, Twitter. I guess you could do Instagram. I think you could do Instagram with like a picture or something like that. And on a weekly basis, at a specific time of the week, make a post. And if people are like, why are you spamming or stuff like that? Just let them know, like, I'm part of a hype squad. I'm trying to help this person succeed and stuff. And this is me just doing my little part. Yes, this is exactly like Pewds and T-Series, basically. just like, yes, subscribe to PewDiePie. Do your part, basically. I'm trying to recruit a small squad army here, and that's all really I can do. But I'm going to be doing some specific things on the Discord as well. Jacob will not be a part of this hype squad group, so if you're on the Discord, I'm gonna work my super admin magic to make it so that Jacob specifically, you can't see what's actually going on in this in this group here and stuff. If you end up you're not okay with that.
No, that's fine. Go for it.
Okay.
Anytime someone is doing something creative, saying, "Hey, we're going to do a bunch of stuff to try and help promote your work, but we don't want you to know about it. We're just going to do it without your knowledge or
I think there's
that's one of the best things ever.
This is also one of the things that I want to I want to talk. Okay, I'm going to be a little vulnerable here. One of the things that freaked me out early on in the channel was people had told me over and over again, mostly old people that don't know what they're talking about, that the internet is a scary place.
Oh.
That the internet is full of people that don't care about you, that just out to screw you over, right? What I've found over the last 2 years is exactly the opposite. There have been so many amazing people that have come around us, specifically us, and given support and given encouragement at times when they didn't know how important we needed it, but also not just that, but like given, like not prompted or anything, just like given way more than we deserve, specifically just because they wanted to let us know that they were grateful for the little things that we do. Mm-hmm. And that means so much more than you guys could possibly know. So what I'm basically doing here is I'm believing in the me that believes in you, you know? I see that there are a core group of people out there that really care not about just his book, but about who he is as a person. And I want to empower you guys with some specific tools to do that, because I could do a lot, but I am made stronger in my efforts with this by having a small group of people to do this. So we're gonna make a hype squad. If you want to be a part of this, and you don't have to, be a part of the Discord or anything like that, I'm gonna have a schedule specifically for you to do specific posts and things like that. You're not even gonna interact really that much with any of the hype squad and stuff. But hey, if you guys want to do this on Twitter, which I think would probably be the best way to do this, we're gonna own a specific hashtag. I was thinking about making fun of it and going full BL as actually like battle lines, because then we could claim the boys love, hashtag.
that crossed my mind too.
I don't want to do that.
Initials are BL.
Yeah. If you are doing it on a place where there are hashtag, we will just do hashtag battle lines. Hashtag battle lines. That's gonna be the thing there. But email us at our email, semblanceofsanity91@gmail.com. That is our official channel business email. And just say either I would like to be a part of the hype squad, or I would like to be a part of the weekly social media posting crew. And then once you've done that, I'm not going to. There's not going to be any like further communication. It's just going to be your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to post weekly at this specific time, this specific slot, and. Yeah, and then you just have to tell me what social media you're gonna do. But that's it. So you can email me. You can email me right now, semblanceofsanity91@gmail.com. I'll respond with basically options for when you can make your weekly post. We're gonna.
Now the chat's all just talking about BL.
Oh yeah, I knew what I was doing. Chat. Yeah. That's.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Can I spam on r/writing on Reddit? Because that's the only social media I use. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I would recommend not spam promoting the Kickstarter link, because you could get in trouble on Reddit. I know there are. I know there are specific Reddits where you don't want to spam promote a link to a financially kind of inclined thing. So I'm not asking you to spam. Right. But I am wanting you to make a weekly post, because I'm guessing there's going to be more than just one or two of you. So we're not going to make it crazy stuff. If you do anything else other than that, that's all fine and you and stuff. But this is something that is going to make a huge difference, not just in the fact that we might get a couple more people that join the Kickstarter or pledge to that, but one of the beautiful things about the internet is how connected we are. Yeah. And one of the weirdest things that's happened just in our whole experience in the internet is how one person told one person who told one person who told one person who ends up changing our lives, actually. Like we end up getting our lives changed by the person who was connected to a person who was connected to a person who was connected to a person who watched one video.
Right.
Like that has happened. Like you guys, you don't realize how connected we all are on the internet. It's actually like beautiful. It's amazing. Y'all are amazing in chat, by the way. Like this last like 3 minutes in chat has been hilarious. Just watching you guys.
A particular gold piece from Ollie for anyone on the VOD. You should just make a Tinder account with the cover art. It's so sexy that you'll get so many matches.
Oh my God, Ollie, you clever bastard, you hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That could be actually kind of fun, Mecha Shoe. Did you ever think about doing a stream entirely dedicated to quickly writing short stories, taking the setting, plot points, and stuff like that from the chat live, and at the end compare the results you both got to? It'll be a silly thing, but with a lot of potential for fun, memeing, and actually good writing pointers.
Yeah, because you can. Because
I love writing short stories. That's my favorite thing.
And they can come out of really anywhere. Just the ether. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Critical Role, but there's a character that's one of the best side characters in Critical Role, and he was just made in like a Twitch stream.
I am also Pumat Soul.
Well, not Pumat Soul. He's he is amazing. But Orly.
Oh well,
Captain, I think we're heading into a proper storm.
Yeah. It was just awesome. But
yeah, Orly Pumat Soul is great. The recent Goblin guy in the recent Critical Role one, the one that was all fancy and dressed up.
Yeah.
That one was amazing. Oh my gosh, I am so special. Thank you for the follow. Earns my business with 100 bits. Hashtag BL Squad. Oh my gosh. Ncourt 137. Thank you so much for the follow as well. Glad to have you here. All right, y'all. So, okay. So, hold on. There's a lot of craziness and stuff. Ollie's like, y'all think I'm joking, but I will do that. So help me God. Oh my gosh. Grammys, you like armor? Does looking at it make you a doki doki? Then look at battle lines. All your pleasures, your pleasures will be fulfilled. Hashtag BL.
Wow.
Wait, I just clapped and the chat disappeared.
No.
What is going on?
What happened?
Twitch, get your act together. What is going on? I've heard actually there were some things where people were saying Twitch chat was actually like on the fritz. There were some issues they were running into. So I hope I Thanos clap.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
basically.
Okay, chat is back. That's good.
All right, but
Magic kill. Clap. Book review. Real Sleepy Skull. Thank you so much for the follow. Glad to have you here. The only one who can ban this whole chat is me. Damn it.
BL review.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh boy.
So, first spot. Send an email saying you would like to be a part of the Hype Squad and do a weekly social media post, and then I will reply with schedule and opportunities. Then we'll do that there, and it will be basically like a 1, 2, 3 correspondence, and then we'll be done. Because there's probably going to be a lot of people, but if you're thinking about this, I just want to be very realistic with expectations here. If you think this is going to be a thing where like I'm going to start a huge like one-on-one discussion with you necessarily with that, I don't have that much time. I just want to be real with you here. Like this is going to be a squad mission, orders, back and forth. Okay, we're good. If you want to discuss with things, more seriously and stuff with this, if you are a Twitch sub, you're with your Twitch Prime thing, if you are any level of support on Patreon, you get access to our Discord. I am going to have a channel, a private text channel, specifically for the Battle Lines Hype Squad. And if you want to be in there, you can, but you do not have to be in order to participate in this. But we'll still be able to chat through Twitch chat and everything like that there. So
send the book to PewDiePie.
Send the book to PewDiePie.
PewDiePie gets the same book from 60 different people, and he's like, what is this?
hey, if anyone, here's the thing, guys. This is the power of the internet. PewDiePie has a subreddit where people submit memes.
Oh.
I'm just saying. Like, maybe not submitted as a meme, but I don't know. We don't have a video that could go with that and stuff. But if there's a way for you to figure out, like, how do we submit, like, books for you to read and stuff, that's a huge long shot. Huge long shot. But, I mean, like, I really respect the guy and stuff, and I don't know if he would actually do it now. I think he would want to wait until he could get an actual book,
Oh, yeah.
So don't do anything with that, with the Kickstarter and stuff, but find out maybe how you could send a book. Because I think Jacob has a couple other people that are smaller YouTubers that are he'd want to send the book to
Yes.
like have them take a look at it and stuff. So we'll end up
like,
doing that. Don't
actual book review channel.
we're not commissioning you to go and spam subreddits.
Don't
please.
spam things, but like just be yourselves and talk about it. Like, why are you excited for the book and things like that?
Yeah.
Because
Real Sleepy Skull, thank you so much for the follow. Ernest my present with the 100 bits. And Ernest my present again with the 100 bits. 100 bits, not wow, I misspoke there. Actual no BL ban. Wait, is that? Oh my gosh.
oh boy,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
no, go ahead, all in on the BL meme.
Make BL memes for Reddit. Oh my gosh. Hey, if the meme happens, then
I mean,
go
go
beyond.
live your dream.
I know that's
Live your
thing.
meme.
Aspiring writer at a loss. His book review to online meme. More at 11. Why did I read that in the Gloria Bolgar voice?
Who knows?
All right, so that's that for there. We're gonna call the podcast a little short here. I've got a lot of stuff I gotta do. I know Jacob does as well.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much for supporting Jacob. Thank you so much for supporting us.
Yes.
This whole process has been something that I know for me, I've just been looking on kind of proudly, and I just want to like make sure this is like perfectly clear. Like Jacob did this, like this is all him. Like this is your book. Like this is your book. He did this. He has finished the book, and now we're getting. Oh God, people are shipping things.
So by the way, though, I will just say, as awful as I'm sure some of the ships will be, I will absolutely take that as a point of pride. Fan fiction, shipping, all of that. That just means I did my job.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yes. Jacob has pierced the heavens. Now he must create it. Y'all are awesome. Chat.
Yeah.
We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been a journey, and I think it's fun that the journey ends up just kind of coinciding to end around Jacob's 24th birthday.
Yeah, and almost exactly 3 years after I started
almost
it.
exactly 3 years.
Started it April 16th, so yeah.
Yeah.
BL fan art? Absolutely. I mean, all the stretch goals on the Kickstarter are basically me wanting, like, BL fan art.
Yeah, we've got...
It's not fan art, it's just art.
We've got 5 boys, 4 girls, and 1 AI bot so far introduced.
Yes, although the fact that you called Saul
a boy.
Boy. Just, anyways. But, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, guys, thank you so much for that. Again, the Kickstarter link's posted up there. I can post another one in a second.
Yeah.
But the email address for it's on the info about section of our YouTube thing. Let me just type it in here and stuff, because this is the email for for getting to be a part of the hype squad and stuff.
Right.
So send that one to us there if you want to be a part of the hype squad. I'll be doing something in Discord very soon. But the Kickstarter link.
I want to see that beach attire. I do too.
Yeah, but we'll be calling the podcast now. So yeah, see you in a future video. Tomorrow we have Divinity Original Sin 2 Let's Play starting, and I couldn't be more hyped.
Tomorrow?
Did I say tomorrow? Crap. No.
Tomorrow.
Sorry, not tomorrow.
Berserk.
Tomorrow's Berserk. Thank you, Jacob. You're my better half here, keeping me sane. Okay, tomorrow is Berserk, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here, Twitch. We have on Thursday night,
right,
5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have Divinity Original Sin 2 Let's Play starting.
Yes.
Co-op Let's Play.
Gonna be amazing.
And I'm so excited. I've been like building up to this with Jacob for almost a year now.
He actually convinced me to do it. Like,
I actually convinced him to play a video game, y'all. Like this is so good. This is the best timeline. And then on Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be continuing our Witcher 3 Let's Plays, which have been pretty fun.
Caleb's so hyped he's forgotten how weeks work. Oh no.
Y'all, this is what having a YouTube channel done. I just know what episodes are going up on
Right. The days
online.
of the week, we don't, what even are those anymore?
I just know what upload days are. That's
I'll forget even what day of the month, like what week of the month it is, too. Like, I'll be like, wait, what's the... Yeah.
Yeah, the Discord factions actually help me with what week of the month it is. That's
BL is love. BL is life.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. You
Oh
heard
my
it here
gosh.
first. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
What day are we? Yeah.
Who knows? Yari yari does it. Okay.
Oh,
so-
and there will be anime references, absolutely. Like, they
yes.
fit into it so that, it's not jarring if people, like, don't get the reference,
Uh-huh.
But, oh, yeah, there will be references.
Awesome. All right, y'all. We'll see you in the next one. Tomorrow or tomorrow. Until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.